get down there now? Okay, yeah, we'll walk through that. Okay, yeah, well, would you like to
A lot of the things, you know, in my studio, they often relate to, you know, projects or, you know, I'm a little bit of a collector or a hoarder. I kind of have a, a plan for everything that's in here. He's been my model for my, the next body of work that I'm doing there is Dundalli. And Dundalli is an Aboriginal resistance fighter. And in the painting behind that I'm working on, he was my model for Dundalli. You can see him in Dundalli in that same pose there. Another thing I like doing, I guess, is praying or utilising elements from popular culture, things that affect people every day and throughout history and throughout life. So when people look at the work, there is a familiarity and they don't know what it is, but then it will prick them. I started using animals, you know, to represent certain elements or certain things, you know. I used to make the indigenous animals come out victorious and looking very powerful, and generally, you know, I have used pigs. I think Emery Douglas was the first one to symbolise police as pigs, you know, but it kind of stuck, you know, within our in our vocabulary as well. Every culture often refers to police as being pigs, but, you know, I've done that, but I've also, you know, used pigs to represent politicians as well. And there was a case whereby I used native animals then to represent Aboriginal people, all kangaroos, you know, with sunglasses with the Aboriginal flag on them to show that, you know, they're seeing things through Aboriginal eyes or looking at things, the world, in an Aboriginal way. But also, on another level, I can't paint eyes, so I would put sunglasses on them as well. Like in the past, you know, because much of the work that I have done has been overt in its political nature, and a lot of times, you know, I have copped kind of pretty, you know, severe criticism with the work. But, you know, that comes with the territory. If you want to do overt, in-your-face type work, then people are going to react, and when they do react, it's in an honest way. And to me, you know, it's kind of worthwhile. Like, I mean, I've had work that was turned around, you know, in the gallery because someone was offended. It was a touring show called Native Title Now, and the work went around all different regional areas. And when it was in the university, I think, of the Southern Highlands, I think it was, an economics student went into the gallery, and in the paintings there was Parliament House, and there were planes that were going to fly into Parliament House, and she took it upon herself to censor it so others cannot see it, and turned it around. And then, of course, you know, there was a little bit of a media storm, but not much of a storm at all. I often tell people that I actually done it before 9/11, so Osama bin Laden, I should sue him for stealing my idea. But anyway, I mean, I'm being very insensitive, aren't I? Well, that's what she thought. Any scenario that I take where it's subjugated, you know, I'll take that very subjugation and turn it around. When people will say, oh, yeah, I'm disturbed by that, I'm disturbed by the fact that, you know, you got all these white people and you got them impaled, you know, with the big stake going through their mouth and coming out of their bums, that's horrific. That is, you know, I'm offended by that. If I'm dealing with a harsh reality or something that is quite confrontational, humour often helps make the work a little bit more digestible, and people can look at something and smile and not be too confronted by it. But and like humour is one of those things that does help you visually to engage with something. I painted John Howard and Pauline Hanson on a punching bag, you know. A king hit for for Queen and Country or something like that. And I had, John Howard, you know, with the British flag on one glove and then the swastika on the other. And Pauline Han with the swastika on one glove, but also the Deep South rebel flag, which also used to exclude people who aren't, you know, white. But also what I did do is have boxing gloves or punching gloves with the Aboriginal flag on it. So, you know, it's the whole concept of getting even with the boss, or you get back at the source of your pain by punching it. Yeah, something that I didn't mention when I was speaking to you on the phone, when I showed you that the mural that I'd done when I was in Athens was, you can see, you know, just a rough sort of a bit of graffiti there, and like there was a little figure going, like vomiting. That's kind of what they thought. But at the same time, you know, like. The artist and the artist's works were treated with respect by, by all the Greek students and by the Greek artistic community as well. So, so I think it's more of a political kind of thing of a nation once again, you know, like a foreign nation once again coming in and trying to tell, you know, the Greek people how to live or what to do, or taking control of something. It's something that, you know, as a nation that they've had to do throughout their whole history. So, The Southern Cross, the constellation of stars, those Anglo-Australian racists who tattooed those stars on their bodies and wore them on their shirt and stuff like that, but they've reinvented it to be something ugly. And it's a bit like the way, you know, the Nazis had taken this beautiful symbol of what we know as a swastika now. They've taken that beautiful symbol. It had other meanings before that, you know, one of regrowth, rebirth, and the meaning of that symbol was beautiful, which is probably why Richard Bell took, you know, the word Oz and just put the tika on the end of it, or sticker on the end of it, to make it like Austika, to symbolise the fact that that these races who use that symbol, use the Southern Cross to exclude, you know, on the basis of the colour of skin, are just as racist as the Nazis. As far as sales and selling goes, it does not happen, the sort of work, because basically no one wants politically overt on their walls. I mean, there is interest from major collections and interest from, from state and national galleries and other, you know, art institutions and things like that. But at this stage, for me, they're only interest as well, because what my work actually do, it pays witness to a time and place, you know, in the world. You know, there may be no interest now, but, you know, come the future, 20 years down the track, when people are looking back in history and realising, you know, this had happened. So, you know, like, my advice, I think, you know, to all artists is to make your art honestly, you know, how you perceive the world, you know, make pictures of what is happening. Be it photography, be it film and video, be it even, you know, writing a song or singing a song, you know. We are of our time, and we'll speak of that time in history. People talk about, you know, like Aboriginal tradition-oriented art being authentic and real because it's commenting on tradition. But, you know, as you know, that it is culture, but as you know, culture is dynamic and moving and forever changing. And we're actually making culture just by sitting here talking with the camera and looking around and doing all that.